every Palestinian life and Israeli life is the same, and most countries don't do that. I'm saying I don't see a situation in the world where Hamas could ever cause with the defense that Israel has. Hamas
you
could ever
don't, but
cause.
you don't see that for the same. The reason you don't see that is the thing that you oppose, though. The reason that Hamas doesn't have those capabilities is because when they try to amass those capabilities, they get the shit bombed out of them. That's why they don't have the capability. They don't have the capability because Israel does the thing that you oppose.
What bombing? Like what? Before? Like what do you mean by bombing? But when they tried to get the capabilities, so what they've done like after October 7th?
Well, or after October 7th, or even before, right? Before October 7th, they had wars with Hamas. They had a blockade that stopped them from getting the capabilities, in large part.
Yeah, I know.
What are you guys doing here?
What? Oh, I'm screaming angrily at Teuton, and because I'm a fucking moron, I'm not doing it on my stream and monetizing the content.
Wow, that's really bad.
I just love arguing with this kid.
What's the story?
LonerBox, I was saying that Democrats should right now. I wish I was American, man. I would have it'd be so much easier to debate this shit because I would have like so much more knowledge about like just American culture and American politics. But anyways, we'll go on. So yeah, just wanted to state that. I said that the Democrats, especially a new poll. Oh, fuck, let me just stay on my fault. Democrats, right now should run on being run and have and blast anti and be anti-Israel right now with their rhetoric. So, and my evidence and the evidence I'm using to provide this, a new New York Times Siena poll came out, and there was a question providing additional economic military aid to Israel. U.S. registered, they polled like 1,300 people worldwide, nationwide. For Democrats, the net opposed to sending economic.
He thinks this matters. He thinks people care about this as much as.
Net opposed is 73%. Net support is 19%. And I saw another poll which said what conflicts do you care about? Israel Gaza was ranked 9% above abortion, and abortion is a pretty important issue. I'm saying
people didn't care about abortion as much as people thought that they were going to, unfortunately.
In the 2024 election, foreign policy as a whole was the top issue for 4% of voters.
I saw another poll where it's I don't know when.
I have a much less retarded topic to talk about, Loner.
Yeah, okay.
Which is, has there been statistics for previous wars where the missing number of people added to the death count, like at what significant levels?
I have no idea. Honestly, the more I look into estimates about death tolls, the more I wonder like how people are doing any of it. Like I still don't understand how in 2025 you can have like events in Syria where one death toll is like twice as high as the other one. Like one says 1,000, the other says 2,000. I don't even know how they do that.
Was that about like the Alawites?
Yeah.
Wasn't there like these people were just estimating, and then the government itself came out with the actual number, which was
I don't know if there's a government number, is there? Maybe if there is,
they
then
did an investigation.
That wasn't the last thing I saw, but okay.
Yeah, no, because there was a delay for the investigation, but they eventually released a number.
Generally, you wouldn't
1,300, something like that.
Generally, you wouldn't call a missing person dead in the middle of a war. You'd probably wait until afterwards, and if you still can't find them, then you can presume
dead. What if they've like fled? Because he did include people that fled.
Yeah, but no one who fled to Egypt is going missing. The amount of processing you'd have to do to get someone out of Gaza would be quite high, no?
Well, that's because not out of Gaza, not necessarily during the war, because they were just bribing people on the border. That was the whole issue where I was like fucking mauling about Egypt, is they were letting border soldiers charge people 10,000 like.
I doubt the border soldiers were taking their names either. The people who they
Were those soldiers just taking bribes? Were they not?
They were taking bribes, but like that was like the whole issue of Gazans asking money from people abroad is because so they can get their families.
I thought it was an Egyptian. I thought it was a private company that was charging people, or no? It was a company that was doing it, wasn't it?
I'm not as far as I'm aware.
But yeah, okay. I guess if you've bribed your way into Egypt, you might be counted missing because you're not going to fucking, what do you call it?
Proper
Say
channels.
that you've gone there. Yeah, you're also probably not going to announce that you've gone there, but.
Also, people didn't. This is something that people didn't know. People, it's not easy for people to leave Gaza. Like people that were born in Gaza, easy for them to leave Gaza even before the war. Like there was like no option for them to leave.
Yeah.
Why are people like people didn't know this?
There was an article, I think, in Haaretz a long time ago, that it involved, like, I think an Israeli journalist went and talked to, I think, a Palestinian who had fled to Egypt at the start of the war. But it sounded like this guy was rich. So it seems like maybe that was the only exception in terms of Gazans being able to get out, as people who were like really rich already, and they had some way.
There were
really
fundraisers
rich.
for this all the way throughout as well, like especially at the beginning. There were fundraisers to help families
Yeah, but
leave.
Yeah, like I think this guy got out right after October 7th.
So the issue was with the fundraisers, a lot of people claimed it was scams because how the fuck would you need $50,000 to get out of Gaza?
If it's for a family, that's 5 people.
If it's like 5, like that's the whole thing. That we're charging $8,000 a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which most people, like if let's say a father or a mother is trying to leave, she would probably send her kids first, but she wouldn't send her kids on their own out.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I'd be curious if after the fact, like I was always wary about some of these GoFundMes. Although, yeah,
I'm worried about the death count. Like if the missing numbers people actually adds a significant amount, it's I don't know. Like, what would be the percent of the population if it's like 100,000 dead?
It would be
5%.
Yeah, 5%.
So it's already like a 2.5.
There was a Guardian
around
article a bit ago that I encountered yesterday from arguing with people on Twitter that had like a retired IDF general saying that likely the death count is like 200,000 or something. But I don't know.
IDF came out and said that's bullshit.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I mean, of course they did, but like, do we believe that it was? Although
because like no one else is saying 200,000. Like no one else, like Gaza Health.
Oh yeah,
Minister, if someone was saying 200,000 and the Gaza Health Minister is like no 66K, I think we would probably take the people who are counting more seriously rather than some retired old guy that has no real way of finding out.
Is the Gaza? Oh well, no. Apparently he was in the military.
He was chief of staff.
Yeah.
He said killed or wait, hang on. He said killed or wounded. So that's even the health ministry says that. The health ministry says wounded, like injuries are 168,000, deaths are 66,000. So
that makes sense, no? That's around his numbers. If it's killed or wounded.
So that's not even whistleblowing though. That's just health ministry numbers.
Yeah. I think the numbers that like the IDF knows that no one else knows, like how many combatants compared to civilians were killed, right?
Yeah, that's the big question mark.
That they're not letting out. And if they're not letting out, it probably doesn't look that great for them, no?
Oh, for the IDF, yeah, probably not. Because I mean, like,
hold on, would they know? Would they know if they're like, because like it's let's say an airstrike happens and they obviously have, like civilian casualties. Would they know who were civilians and who were not in that fucking strike?
Wait, what?
If let's say like the IDF was doing an airstrike, right? And in that airstrike there was civilian casualties, would they be able to count who were the casualties? Like they would know before the airstrike, right?
Yes.
So that would they have like an estimate number of how many civilians compared to combatants they've killed?
They should, yeah.
So
the only difference is they'd be more precise with combatants because they'd be more precise with combatants because they're the ones that they're targeting. So they might say, well, there's definitely going to be 5 combatants here, but maybe like 5 to 10 civilians get hurt. Like
so my question is that if they have a number on that, and they most likely do, and they're not releasing it, it's probably doesn't look too good for them.
I actually don't know. I don't really know why they don't do that. Why they don't say.
The only reason I can think of is that it doesn't look good for them.
I mean, it could also just be because they don't have, like when they're doing estimates of proportionality, they're not there to like assess more accurately the civilian numbers. So like, why would you throw out a number that might not be accurate or might not even be close to accurate?
Or maybe they don't want to like throw out a number they're not sure of, where the number that's like accurate could be much better.
What about in the past, like during Castlet and Protective Edge? Did they give out the numbers then, or did they do it after?
I don't recall that they did during Cast Lead. Not that I saw.
Okay, so they did it. If they did it after, how long? And then, like, what did Hamas like wait like a couple of years after all the reports were written, and then they came out with the actual number, their number?
Well, no, the IDF gave a number of combatants killed in Cast Lead. They said 700 or 709 was the exact number, and Hamas said 50 until about a year later. Then Hamas said 700. Yeah.
God damn it. Okay. And
What
the
about-
IDF. Hold on, the IDF didn't give that number until after Castlet was over. During, they didn't say anything about it.
I don't know what they said
Wait,
during. I can't remember. I don't think that's like
hasn't
that's
the
like daily
IDF
updates.
said the number of Hamas militants they believe they've killed?
Yeah, they say it's like 20 plus. Well, the last I saw was 20,000, but that was a while ago.
Okay, yeah, but they're not giving the proportion is the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if we assume that's correct, that's still insane. Although you have to take into account how Hamas fights and all that, but it's still it's probably fair to say that their proportionality assessments are pretty garbage, or like that they are being disproportionate because they don't give as much of a fuck as they should about civilian casualties, or they give no fucks at all.
It sounds
Yeah,
like they give some
9/7
fucks, but it doesn't look very. Again, we just won't know. Like, we won't know.
And what about the 972 thing, which came out that said they have a database that includes 47,000 names, which seems to be like 47,653 names of Palestinians in Gaza who Amman considers to be in the military rings of Hamas and the PIJ. So that's it. 47,653 seems to line up with like the estimates of how much members of Hamas there are and how much members.
The problem is that your
Pa-
own talking points wouldn't align with that, because aren't you the guys who say that Hamas have also conscripted like 20,000 people since the war started? They're not going to be on a list of names.
Who says that?
I thought you did. Don't you guys say that Hamas have like replaced their numbers?
That
More or less. That's like a very common claim, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can claim that.
Oh, well, you acknowledge that other people have, right? That Hamas have conscripted people
but
during the
still-
war.
Still, Israel.
That's not going to be on a list of
Israeli
names.
Wait,
I know, but the Israeli
they say
still it's
conscripted? I
Well,
thought that they
conscripted
just
or
said
recruited, either or. They've replaced
Okay,
their fighting
okay.
force. Yeah, they've replaced a lot of their fighters.
Yeah, even with that fact, the fact that the Israeli army says it's killed only 8,900 of
They're not saying that though. They're saying they've only
operatives.
killed that many of the people that they can fully name and identify that were already in Al Qassam and
seems-
Al Quds before the war. Like, what? That doesn't count people who have been conscripted. It also doesn't count people from the other like 10 militant groups in Gaza. It doesn't actually also include people who are Al Qassam that they don't have full identification of.
Still,
What do you mean still?
I should read the whole piece.
It's just incomplete. It's just an incomplete estimate, a very incomplete estimate.
The 47,000 number aligns with how much militants are on Gaza.
Yeah, but you're
aligns
just
with the
ignoring
upper
you're just
estimate.
ignoring a piece of information that everyone agrees on to suit your argument. You're ignoring the fact that how many people have Hamas recruited during the war? Just Hamas.
I don't know.
Haven't people said it's like 20,000?
I'm pretty sure there was a number
think
from the
we have
IDF that they've recruited as well, no?
Hamas added up to 15. This is in January. This is like 10 months ago almost, that they added up to 1,500 fighters since October 7th. They're not going to be in that list.
1,500
15,000.
or 15. Oh, I thought you said 1,500. According
That would have
to
been a very normal amount.
1,500.
Yeah.
according
that would be
according to
low.
what source?
This is U.S. intelligence.
1,500 is pretty small, no?
Yeah, but
for
it's
recruiting
actually
during a war? Not really.
15,000.
50. Well, no, he said 1,500 loner.
Oh, 15,000, yeah.
15,000. But yeah, I asked my question. There's other topics, but not with other people here. So chat to you.
Oh, shit.
Bye,
If-
Sev.
If they added that 15,000, so of the 47,000 on the list, so let's just assume we can assume, because that's the upper estimate, we can assume that's probably represents 90 to 99% of the militants in Gaza before October 7th, right?
What, 47,000?
Yeah,
That would be the
yes,
cumulative
yeah.
total of Hamas and Islamic Jihad, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the
Well,
vast,
Al-Qassam
and
and
those are the
Al-Quds
and the other
Brigade.
groups are the other groups are pretty
I have no idea
very
how small the other
compared
groups
to,
are. There's like 10 of them. I have no idea what their cumulative numbers are.
like what the leftist
The
groups.
PFLP.
Yeah, I don't know
those
that.
barely have any.
Okay, sure.
Anyways,
Let's say
it
it's
would
100.
be
Okay.
yes, it wouldn't be that much. So they killed 8,900 of the 47,000 people militants in Gaza before October 7th. That still sounds they might have killed more militants, but that sounds horrible. They've only
Well, yeah,
killed that much.
incomplete
Yeah.
information is going to sound horrible because it's incomplete. Yeah, of course. Any incomplete numbers
They have a
on
list
militants
and
that you've
names of
killed.
them.
Wait, hold on, Loner. Didn't you just a moment ago say that the number that the IDF estimates that they killed of Hamas militants total is since the start of the war was 20,000?
In January, they said 20,000. I don't know when they updated
Okay,
that.
okay, yeah. So that number that Teuton has cited, that 8,000 number, that's just the ones that they can name.
Yeah, this is the one that they have, like, it seems like full information on, because let me go find the thing. Because I'm pretty sure
it's the
even
military
within the
database.
972 article, database includes a list of 47,653 names of Palestinians in Gaza whom Amman considers to be active in the military wings of Hamas and PIJ, according to sources. Internal document acquired by the army. The database designates 34,973 as Hamas, 12,702 as operatives of Islamic Jihad. According to the data which was obtained in May of this year, the Israeli army believed that it killed around 8,900 operatives since. So the list obtained in May 2025. Okay, that's not long ago. The deaths of 7,330 of whom were considered certain and 1,570 probably dead. The vast majority of them were junior, with the army suspecting it had killed 100 to 300 senior operatives out of 750. A source familiar with the database explained that a specific piece of intelligence is attached to the name of every operative on the list, whom the army is sure it killed, justifying the designation. Local call guardian numerical data database. The overall death totals published daily with the health ministry. Intelligence sources explain the total number of militants killed is likely higher than the number recorded in the internal database, since it does not include Hamas or PIJ operatives who were killed but could not be identified by name, Gazans who took part in fighting but were not officially members of Hamas or PIJ, or political figures in Hamas such as mayors or government ministers whom Israel considers legitimate targets. They say that's in violation. It depends on what they were doing, obviously. However, that does not necessarily mean the ratio of civilian casualties is lower than... Okay. So... yeah, this is incomplete data, just so you know. Like, we're just... These are people they can identify by name that they are sure are dead.
Okay, I'm saying even
compared
even
to
by
what?
name,
Compared to what?
still...
In what war has this happened where they've got like a list, like a full database of all the people in the forces before the war, and then they get whatever percentage? Like, what are we comparing this to? What army has ever been in this position where they've got that? Huh?
Since Israel had like bugs and fucking used to occupy Gaza.
I mean, they don't have that much penetration there.
Wasn't the whole issue that they had a big lack of penetration because of that's how October 7th happened? But yeah.
Yeah.
I should have read this article. I'm just fucking lazy. I would have put all of the 7 points. That's what kind of death. No. The public deaths with this kind of only this.
How you doing, Loner?
I'm fine. I think we've got government shutdown stuff to do later.
Yep, they shut it down. They did the
Hell
thing.
yeah, USA.
It is both good and bad. I don't know how, it's always a gamble with these things, but obviously it's good to like actually do something against Trump.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess.
Is it though?
Yes. Also, Ogre Boy noticed me.
Based?
Yeah,
Wait,
I might.
Do you leave Loner
What?
Card?
What?
Ogre Boy? The Ogre
No,
guy?
he he joined so he could talk to Loner, and then he left immediately after.
Bro,
Like that was
shit.
months ago. I dug up the debate that you had with him, Loner, because I don't think it was ever posted on your YouTube channel. So, and I wanted to listen to it again before I talked to him, so I could refamiliarize myself with the arguments that he was making. He's probably going to bring up that Lancet study. They like doing that. Apparently, there was another study that said that estimated the death toll of Gazans from like doctors is like 680,000 or something. It's cited on the Wikipedia
Wait,
article.
Ogre Boy says
I don't know.
that.
No, this was something that I saw on Twitter yesterday. I just think that because like I feel like Overboy might bring something like that up because he brought up that Lancet study in a conversation with Hutch a while ago, I believe. I'm trying to remember exactly like what I think it's because that was I know there were a bunch of criticisms of that study, that it was the issue was
It's all
that like
fucking
it was
madness,
basically
man. Like
it was a guessing.
well, the best thing, like just look at what they've said about 2024. So I'd assume that during the ceasefire in January this year, there would have been time to gather evidence of tens of thousands of missing dead people. It's like do you remember the 99 Doctors, the letter?
Yes.
They put an appendix, I didn't even notice this. They put an appendix out saying that by September last year, the number of people who had starved to death was 62,000. Not like a projection. They said this has already happened. But I'm guessing since they haven't been able to recover 60,000 starved bodies since even during the ceasefire, it's probably just because it didn't happen. Probably just because that many people did not. Yeah.
Why is it
Mad.
like this? It is so it's like I don't know if I even have the chops to do like the level of like you have managed to find this information. Like I'm starting to understand Preston Stewart's frustrations even more now. The amount of misinformation that surrounds this. Like I wanted to make a timeline of the Gaza war to kind of just go through and see what the different things were. But if I was going to do that normally for such a thing, my starting point would probably be something like Wikipedia, and then I would follow their citations. But I don't think that's a good idea. Have you looked at Wikipedia's Gaza war timeline? Because it's probably just going to be a bunch of Israeli struck this spot and like Israel did these war crimes, and that's going to be the whole thing because Wikipedia has completely like lost the plot when it comes to this conflict.
Yeah, no, I mean I've been doing it. That's what I've been doing mostly off stream now. Is like most of my reading has been just on catching up with all the claims. There are I mean like there are some obviously that are just true. Like it's the aid blockages were true.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the like high profile targeting of civilians on the ground is real. Like the Hind Rajab family is true. The WCK bombing is true. Ibrahim Abdi, the deaf man who was shot when he was trying to crawl under his bed, that's true. The fucking other deaf man who was shot for the disabled guy who was shot being detained because he kept standing up and shouting because he didn't understand because he was disabled, he couldn't understand that he wasn't supposed to do it, so they shot him. The mosquito procedure is real. There's a lot of things that are real, but then it's all fucking buried in a bunch of fucking horse shit as well.
Or exaggerated too, yes. Is some of
Yeah,
it just
what about the
exaggerated?
story that the Guardian released of like somebody who came from like Germany and Ohio, like somebody who came then like and killed like whole Gazan family.
Yeah, but that story, what the sniper, is that the guy?
Yeah, the sniper, yeah.
Yeah, even that guy, he's in that documentary by that fucking Yunus Tirawi guy about the ghost snipers, or whatever the fuck they're called. He is interviewed talking about shooting at someone who was dragging a corpse out of a combat zone. But for some reason, when he documents it, he just says that he ignores the fact that in the interview, the guy is saying that this was a combat zone, there was a tunnel, there was IEDs, and there was there was a mined area, and we were shooting at people who had guns, and then the unarmed person who came after to drag the corpse, we shot them as well because it was like whatever irregular activity. But then they just say that, oh yeah, this guy just shot like 5 people for no reason. That's not what happened though.
Yeah,
but even though, so why are you interviewing this guy if you're just going to ignore like half of what he says when you have no other information? It was just fucking
I'm
weird.
saying that's still a bullshit reason. That was his family member.
I came back for specifically the Hind Rajab thing. Is there like anything that people aren't saying about the Hind Rajab? Like story?
Is that the story of the girl who was in the car?
Whose family was like pretty much all killed.
Yeah, that was
Her
a
sister
horrific
Her
story.
sister or aunt or someone close to her called I guess that for help.
Yeah, they called the Red Crescent. Yeah.
Yeah, for help, and then she got killed after calling, and then Hind was on the phone, and then after apparently they also a tank exploded a fucking a vehicle that was approaching them, like a clearly medical vehicle approaching them. I don't know if that part of the story is true. Eventually
Red
to
Cross.
get into the point where they once the coast was clear, they come back and see there was 335 or 55 bullets were fired at the vehicle.
Yeah.
Is there anything we know is not true about that story?
No. There's one account that tried to poke some holes in it, but it's as far as I could see, it's all superficial. It doesn't really get around the fact of the matter. There might be some details in it that are lost in translation because it's a fucking shooting in a war zone, but it's no, there's nothing that really exonerates the people that did that because they were evacuating under instructions, and they were less than a kilometer away from their home. So
in which time frame did this happen?
What do you mean
this
time
incident?
frame? The dates or
Yeah, the dates.
this was
Because
Was
we
it
know
at night?
2024. It was
the reason, no,
February.
yeah.
January,
Okay,
February.
that's why I was asking, because we know there was a time period where there was an IDF general or IDF commander that was basically telling soldiers to fire at will, and even when they haven't evacuated.
No, this isn't
areas.
related to that. That's related to another guy. That's from is it Golani Brigade? The guy he was to do with the ambulance shooting, the 15 ambulance workers. You're the one where they lied about the lights being on.
Oh, the ambulance workers that were tortured and whatnot, those guys, and they talked about it afterwards, or is that something else?
Yeah.
I think you talked about that, Loner, on your stream. The stuff about the Palestinian ambulance workers that got taken into custody by the IDF and they were beaten, and I think some of them were killed, but not all. I can't remember. There's so many. There's so much.
Yeah. So that one was. They had set up an ambush zone outside of Rafah, I think. They set up an ambush zone because they were expecting some militants to go through it. They throughout the day, I think they were kidnapping people or detaining people at the crossing. There were other times when they were just letting people pass. They attacked one bunch of vehicles, a UN vehicle where there was a Palestinian worker in it who died, and then after that there was the ambulances because the drone operator told them that there's suspicious vehicles coming to you, but then the people on the ground would have seen the sirens on because they were on in the video, and then they shot as well. Apparently, according to the IDF report, those shootings were so reckless that the soldiers in the ambush zone were actually risking shooting each other as well. They were people opposing who were shooting at the same time. But yeah, they killed 15 people and they detained another guy, and he was interviewed as well. Since that was the one where you're talking about the recon commander who was dismissed. He was the one who was telling his soldiers, everyone we encounter is an enemy, spot a figure, eliminate it.
Okay, so there's been a bunch of people like that.
Mhm.
It's not just, well, I mean, I know it wasn't just Yehuda Vosh, but he was one of the people, but he's still there and they never got rid of him. And that's so how do you, can you I guess give us a sense of, so I'm assuming that if you were going to look into whether or not a claim was bullshit, or you were going to map out stuff with regards to what was happening in Gaza, that you would first look at what the claim was that was being made, I'm assuming in the mainstream media, and then you would go and look and see if the IDF responded to it and see if there were videos of it, and then I guess you would then try to figure out what's bullshit and what's not, or what might be bullshit or what have you.
Yeah, there are usually situations where there will be. Yeah, it's worth focusing on the claim and just seeing what adds up, because you've got, in most of these situations, you have a Palestinian witness who saw something, you've got the IDF saying something, you might have stuff that gets verified by international press. In the case of the Golani thing, I guess the only dispute is whether or not when this guy said anyone you see is a enemy, shoot them, if you spot a figure, eliminate it. If that's really what he meant in that literal sense, then that contradicts witness statements, because one of the Palestinians who was detained it was a doctor and his son were detained, but he said that there were several times when vehicles were passing through this area that were not fired at. So it doesn't seem to be that they were ordered to, or it was their intention to just fire on everyone who went through this area. It seems to be that the drone operator told these soldiers that they were seeing that there was a threatening vehicle or a suspicious vehicle coming through, and then the soldiers are ordered to fire, and they just don't ask any questions and just fire so recklessly that they kill like 15 people and also risk killing each other.
Okay,
So
and are you
that
looking
seems
at
like
Arab media?
what?
Are you looking at Arab media for this as well, and like Hebrew media, or is it just what's
Yeah.
available in
You
English?
can find it in Arab media as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just that's kind of like another barrier in some ways. But
Like what seemed
yeah,
what the case there is that people were identified as threats with not good enough evidence, which is just like a
Yeah.
reckless, like a criminal endangerment. Like, they fired on people that they had no good reason to, and the unit commander was at the most charitable, was basically giving them a license to not really think that much when you're firing on people. It doesn't,
Yeah.
but it doesn't confirm the claim that it doesn't confirm is that there was like that there was just a kill everyone that crosses this path regardless. That doesn't seem to have happened. And there also wasn't the summary executions, because that the bodies were checked afterwards and there wasn't evidence of like restraint or close-up gunshots like to the head or anything. Yeah.
I think that is one of the things that is probably the most frustrating about this whole thing, is that and like the fact that people throw words like genocide around is because this is so very murky in so many different ways, and that a lot of these things seem to happen in the context of like it's in a war zone and a battle is going on, and like then there are civilians there, and it's so like very gray, and a lot of that stuff kind of comes up in that way. Whereas like if you start looking at stuff like in like with the Rohingya and like the village clearing operations, where like people are just going into villages and killing people, or Rwanda, where they just went, like I feel like when you're talking about like genocides, or Srebrenica, like they went in and they just massacred people, did they not? Like, was that not the case? They just like usually, or Bucha, you're just lining people up and shooting them. But it seems like, and unless you're like going to do some sort of thing where you're going to say that Israel they have a secret plan where they're just going to let their troops go wild and kill a whole bunch of people, and that's how they're going to do their genocide. Which, I mean, maybe that's the case. I don't know, but that just seems, it just sort of stretches things for me. Although I might be able to believe that someone like Yehuda Vash has genocidal intent or whatever, and that he's like letting his guys go crazy, or like ordering his men to shoot a whole bunch of people because he wants to kill as many Palestinians as possible. Oh, hello, hangnails.
What about the Haaretz article that was saying that they were killing people, like what was it? It was like a game, like red light, green light.
That was at the GHF aid sites. I don't know if they were playing. That was like their name for that operation. It was like the Israeli version of red light, green light. That was like that seemed to be a case of insane. Like that whole thing was just incompetent as fuck.
That's luring people out and just shooting the unarmed people who are trying to get food.
No, it was they were trying to do crowd control, because you had a whole fuckload of hungry people, and they never gave them like, rubber bullets or the necessary shit to do crowd control, and they were just doing it with live ammunition, because the IDF and because the people who run, because nobody gives a fuck, because the GHF is like, this is I don't know, Loner, like, do you disagree, or like that was the impression that I got of it? Was that they just, the whole thing was just
the problem is that you're going to deal with a certain kind of person. Also, I don't know if that, because if this was from the GHF worker, if that was him, that he was caught lying, wasn't he? Is that the same person, or is this an IDF soldier? No, this is this is the IDF soldiers. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the IDF soldiers said that same thing. Yeah.
No, the problem is that you're gonna run into people who think this is the same as just going door to door, where there are only civilians, and then just being like, oh yeah, are you Sunni or Alawite? Oh, Alawite, kill you, bang, like, and then just leaving like 20 or 30 unarmed, like sometimes bound bodies just like lying in the street. Like people try to compare this situation to that, but that's just because they're fucking retarded. I don't know. It's like something can be bad, but not the same as like a summary execution.
That kid that turned out that disappeared turned out to be alive. That doesn't mean he was lying.
Wait, what?
What are you guys? What are?
How are you talking about that American guy?
The GHF dude, that the ex GHF employee. Apparently, Teuton is contesting whether or not he was lying. I mean,
Aguilar, yeah. That guy, right? I don't know how you say that
do we know
name.
he was lying? That kid that turned out to be missing, turned out to be alive. That doesn't mean he was necessarily lying.
Well, he said he saw the kid getting shot and killed, didn't he? He
No, I think he
vividly
said that.
described the last moments of this guy who turned out to be alive.
I'm not.
think he,
I
like,
don't
said
want to
something
be the
like he
person
hold his
like
hand.
contesting eyewitness testimony in a war zone, but I think that like all eyewitness testimonies need to be, regardless of like who the source is, need to be taken like with a grain of salt, or like with like this like asterisks that it
Well,
might not be true.
it depends on what they're describing, right? Like, so a witness says someone got shot. It's probably, yeah, I can trust a witness to know the difference between someone who's been shot and someone who hasn't been shot. Missy, no, the guy in question was not shot. That Aguilar guy was just a liar. He was just a deranged liar. Like, doesn't mean that other bad things weren't happening at those aid sites. Obviously they were, but that guy in particular was lying. When you're talking about witness testimony, yeah, like witnesses can obviously, they can tell you when someone gets shot. They can tell you if someone's been sexually assaulted, usually, if they see it. They can tell you about things like that. The difference is that we sometimes have like witness statements where they are identifying munitions and identifying what weapons were used and all this kind of shit. Like, and that's just like,
Well,
I don't blame
no,
people
it's not
for...
just that. It's just that it's like you have to keep in mind the like psychology at play. Like if in like traumatic situations are like the human memory is not necessarily all that accurate, and people tend to like our brains, even when we're not conscious of it, even if you may genuinely think that this is like the truth of what you saw, like you can misremember, you can add memories, you can subtract information, like so it's like I think you have to keep in mind that it's like I like a lot of these people, I personally kind of doubt that people are just like straight up lying in their testimonies, but it's like there is this whole question of like how accurate like witness testimony is, like in all cases, not just like in the context of Gaza.
Yeah, but like internet, the thing is like even people like Amnesty, who have relied a lot on dubious witness statements, even they tend to, I think, separate the ones that just seem like completely clownish from the other ones, right? Like that Euromed monitor, like they publish stories that are fucking mental like all the time, but seems like a lot of them just don't get used even by human rights organizations. But yeah, like it's a fact. Yeah, you're right that you might not be intentionally lying as a witness because you are recalling a very unique event in your life, like one that your memory is not going to be very reliable. But also, not to mention, people can very easily admit that like some Israelis are liars, like that fucking Zaka guy who invented a few horror stories about babies in ovens or whatever the fuck.
Well, that's because all Jews are liars.
True. But for some
Based.
reason, if you want to, if anyone wants to call like a local Palestinian doctor like a liar, then all hell breaks loose. You know, you can't do that. We can only acknowledge that some Israelis are liars. I do that frequently. Tell me one claim I've doubted that I should never have doubted. That's wrong, huh?
LonerBox, I just want to say I hope all the money that you're getting.
Tell me something I've said that's wrong. Tell me something that's wrong. Tell me something I've said that's wrong. Tell me something I've said that's wrong.
I get is what I'm
Tell me something. Tell me a time when I've doubted someone's witness statement.
You take Israeli accounts so serious. You take second-hand accounts, like third-hand accounts of Israeli.
Give me one example. I'm letting you give one example. I'm letting you give one example.
You just have like an inherent need to defend Israel. That's all you have.
Shut
An
the
inherent
fuck
need,
up.
like down
God
to your soul,
damn.
because you're
24/7.
What's
Don't
the-
think it's dick.
Where's the one example? Where's the one example?
Every single time when you join a conversation.
Okay,
you
fuck
get
you.
shit
Oh
on.
my god, you
Guys,
retard.
guys,
That's
stop.
awesome. Holy shit.
LonerBox getting paid by the Jews?
Fuck out. Okay. Give me one example.
Yeah, I'll give you one example. First of all, I looked at that Aguilar story. He said people shooting in the crowd, from the thing from the interview with the Middle East. And you call him a fucking deranged liar, like he was lying on fucking purpose that kid died. So
He
that's
specifically
one.
pointed out the 5-year-old kid in detail described how he was shot. What are you talking about?
See the tweet. For fuck's sake. GHS updates. Ryan Grim tweeted about it. I remember did you hear him respond to these allegations? Did you watch any of that?
I think after he vividly described the death of someone who turned out to be alive and not shot, yeah, I kind of gave up on him. Sorry. Yeah. I don't even know why. It's such an you've got such a layup on the.
You know he's alive because of why? Because why? The GHH update Twitter account like posted a picture of that boy who looks like him, and
Oh, you don't
what's
think
the
you don't
evidence
even
that
think he's.
done that
Oh, you don't
before?
even think you think they found a lookalike. Is that what you're saying?
No, I just want to know all the proof that he's alive, that kid is alive.
I don't know the full details of that story. I mean, we can do it another time if you want. If you want to go in full detail about Aguilar being dismissed by the GHF.
So why are you calling him a deranged liar with absolute certainty now? You just said that the idea of shot in the crowd.
It was pretty like widely reported that this kid was still alive. It wasn't just like a random Twitter thing, wasn't it?
I remember the only thing I remember the main thing seeing the GHH update Twitter account saying
It
that
sounds
that
like
kid
you
was
don't
alive.
remember all that much then. So do you want to go and get some details on this and come back when you've got the full story? Or
Yeah, I shouldn't have fucking lashed out. And
what's
also,
a better example then? Come on.
LonerBox, please, yeah, and please don't represent liberals don't represent like you and like your sphere of politics, like the
I don't
Desi
need
sphere of
I don't need
politics.
broad narrative statements. Give me one example of me actually just like doubting a witness statement or saying something that I have no place in doubting, or like anything.
I can't get it off the top of my head, but I just have I just broadly remember you like you always like trying to dig into these Palestinian accounts and try to like I feel like you always for me I feel like you always have the incentive to like just try to defend what Israel does.
I mean, it looks that way to you because you instinctively believe every outlandish
And
claim
to a
that's
lot of
advanced towards
people.
Israel. I don't care, though. I expect that from them. I expect people who believe every 600,000 fucking death toll that comes their way. I expect people who believe every single claim like this of like quadcopters sniping hundreds of fucking toddlers with drones with weapons that don't even have any documented use in the field yet. I expect people who believe all these stories to think that I'm running defense because I take a step back and want to look more carefully at it. I expect that from them, okay? But this is not a critique,
And
okay?
by the way,
There's a
they're saying
critique when you
600,000.
can acknowledge something that I have said that is clearly, demonstrably like wrong or double standard in terms of evidence. Like even that.
Okay, I should fucking try to get off the top of my head. Let me see. Do I have any of it on my Twitter bookmarks? Few clips of you. Also, you do this thing. This is not 100% lady. You do this thing where you act like the only people that are in opposition with you, with regards to Israel Palestine, are like tankies or far left people. Fucking center left people are opposed to you on
When have I denied that? When have I denied that? I think I'm quite clear that I think center left people are brain broken on Israel Palestine as well. Yeah. It's not like it's not like you're it's not like exactly like yeah, you're going against the tide where there's
children. There's no justification for killing 25,000 children.
Okay, so that means you oppose like that means you oppose the Allied military campaign in World War II because they killed a lot more than 25,000 children.
25,000 children. Hamas could have never done something in the future attack like this that would even do 1% of the damage.
Are you serious? What do you think? What do you think would have happened on October 7th if the IDF hadn't existed? If they stood down? You think Hamas would have just stopped at some point? Got bored?
I can't hear shit.
You said there's no way Hamas could top that. Hamas can't top that because they are literally like stopped from being able to. That's why they can't top that. You think if the IDF stood down on October 7th, if you think if the IDF stood down on October 7th, do you think Hamas wouldn't have done that much damage? Like, where would they have stopped?
I can hear now. I can hear now.
Okay.
I can hear now.
Okay.
I'm saying there is not a single chance in hell that Hamas in the future, after October 7th, after now, would have done a single thing that would have killed even like 1,000 Israeli children.
But why is
I'm
that?
not saying that
Why
I
is
want
that?
them to.
Why are they not able to? Why is it so difficult for them to kill loads
Why
of
they're
Israeli
not able
children?
to? 'Cause Israel's a fucking nuclear armed nation with a pretty fucking strong military, backed by the fucking world's strongest country. That's why.
Because they've used military force against Hamas, then, right? And they've used that to make sure that Hamas can't do it again.
Well, no, I'm saying even before October 7th, Hamas wasn't fucking going out and fucking before, like the years before October 7th, Hamas was, yeah, like
Yeah, because
fucking,
Israel defends itself. Yeah, because they defend themselves against that. Yeah. What are we?
yeah, I'm saying, but Israel, the aggression in Gaza, I'm saying they could have not been bombing Gaza and they could still fucking protect themselves from fucking attacks from Hamas.
What? So they should just tolerate Hamas trying again at some later point.
I'm not saying that they should tolerate. I think they
Well,
should give over
you are
Gaza
though.
to
You are saying they should tolerate it
I
because
think they
that's the
should
only
give over. I
alternative.
think
They
they
either tolerate it, they either tolerate Hamas
Hamas
attempting
have
it
said
again,
again.
or they defeat
Hamas
Hamas.
have said again that they would give over Gaza to another Palestinian force. They've said that in their ceasefire agreements over and over again that they would give it over to another.
I don't know why you keep fucking trying to worm around this. They always say the weapons are our right, that's our legal, moral right to resist. We get to keep our weapons. They are not giving up their weapons. And with those weapons, they say that they want to try again. You're never getting around that.
Have they not said that they'll disarm and give over to
No,
another?
they have. I don't know why people keep fucking saying this. I don't know why people keep saying this. I watch every interview that they do weekly almost now. They always say the weapons are the big red line. I don't know why people try to skirt around this. Because what? Because Dropsite said something about a fucking weapons depot and about a warehouse. They still insist on their weapons.
They wouldn't be willing to give it over to the PA?
No.
I'm saying even with the chance of trying again, that's still fucking. Obviously, Israel doesn't view every Palestinian life and Israeli life as the same, and most countries don't do that. I'm saying I don't see a situation in the world where Hamas could ever cause with the defense that Israel has. Hamas
You don't see that for the same. The reason you don't see that is the thing that you oppose, though. The reason that Hamas doesn't have those capabilities is because when they try to amass those capabilities, they get the shit bombed out of them. That's why they don't have the capability. They don't have the capability because Israel does the thing that you oppose.
What bombing? Like what before? What do you mean by bombing? But when they try to get the capabilities, so what they've done after October 7th?
Well, or after October 7th, or even before, right? Before October 7th, they had wars with Hamas. They had a blockade that stopped them from getting the capabilities, in large part.
Yeah, I know.
But these are all things you oppose. You oppose these things. So yeah, you don't get to live in two worlds where you get to say, well, they shouldn't worry about Hamas because Hamas can't do any damage. But also, I oppose all the things that Israel does to make sure that Hamas can't do any damage.
If I supported the blockade, then what would you say?
If you support the blockade when? Before October 7th or now?
Yeah, before October 7th. Then what? Then what? Because you would agree that you would say that Hamas could have there's no chance Hamas would inflict 1/10 of the human suffering on the Israeli civilians, innocent Israeli civilians that Israel has done to the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
Well, okay, you can support if you want to take the position that before October 7th you support the blockade, and I guess you probably support the blockade being stronger than it was because part of the reason that Hamas was able to carry out October 7th was because they got concessions from Israel prior. They got the fishing zone and the water access expanded. The buffer zone between Gaza and Israel used to be 1 kilometer 10 years ago. Before October 7th, it was 100 to 300 meters. So that would go back as well.
Than what's happening in Gaza now.
Yeah, everyone would. That's the problem. But my understanding is that everyone who's pro-Palestine, self-proclaimed, they said that they opposed the blockade.
Well, stop trying to fucking generalize, okay? I'm saying if putting a blockade is the cost, I would fucking take it. So again, and you yeah. So I'm saying there's no justification for this because with the Nazis, they're a fucking superpower that's committing industrial slaughter and like took over 10 countries and had the area size of fucking of like what 7 million square kilometers, like
I
nearly the whole
agree. Yeah.
of Europe. 5 million. There's no so then you could say there's a justification for a lot of civilian
What
like
were the Nazis when, again, I don't like making Nazi comparisons, okay? I just do it because because
a
everyone
lot
else
of
does. People
pro-Israel people
recognize
do.
it. Yeah, and a lot of pro-Palestine people do, and it's fucking retarded when both of them do it. But if we're gonna make
Sure,
the
yeah, no.
analogy, you're talking about what the Nazis were because they were allowed to arm, because they were given their sovereign right to do what they wanted with their country and to rearm without
Same
consequences and
Hamas
to
with the
annex.
Gaza
So
Strip.
what I'm asking you is, what were the Nazis when Berlin was surrounded on all sides? Were they still the dominant superpower that had the ability to carry out like the fucking Holocaust and all that? Well, no, they were reduced, but then you don't just stop when the force that's got all this destructive intent uh to you don't just stop there. You have to, if you want anything better for that area and the area around it, the force that's doing that kind of needs to go. And again, I think we both agree that it would, or maybe you don't, I don't actually. Hamas can stop that by disarming and giving up power. And now the deal's there.
I support Hamas disarming and stop giving up power if Gaza goes to a Palestinian body. I support that.
So you don't support any interim before that, to be clear.
Interim, yeah, I'd support, but there has to be a guarantee that it would eventually go to a Palestinian body. And and that Palestinian body should.
So given that this
exactly
current
as-
proposal has like well, maybe the conditions will be there in the future and we recognize
Well, no, I
the
don't
desire.
think it may be.
So they should reject
'cause I
it.
don't-
Should they reject the deal then? Just keep fighting.
They should negotiate that it will definitely go over to a Palestinian body in the future, in like the next 5 years or something like that.
Well, they should demand like a
definitely go-
time window.
Yes, it should go over to another
Okay,
Palestinian
let's say
body.
let's say Trump and the Arab states and Israel say no, which they will.
Then no.
Then no, they should
No,
keep
then-
fighting.
Yes, because I don't support. Yes, because it should go to another Palestinian body, not international, not Israel.
Well, I don't know why keeping fighting
And
helps with
isn't
that,
Trump
but
the head
fuck me.
Isn't Trump the head of that? Isn't Trump the head of that?
Yeah, it's a
Head of
shitty
that?
fucking situation. I would have much preferred that the end state of things was negotiated by Biden or Kamala, but it's not, unfortunately. So we're here.
Do you think that's a reasonable demand for Hamas to make, though? That it goes not to them, just another Palestinian body.
I think we live in.
Not to them.
Yeah, that's a reasonable demand. You're not going to get it from any of these leaders.
Well, then if they don't get that demand, then yeah,
But it
they
does
should-
just
they should-
because the deal could be better, could be a lot better, does not mean that fighting is better than accepting what we've got offered now. What is Hamas securing in terms of negotiations if they keep fighting? Apart from what, like more UN reports?
And more UN reports, more pressure on international Israel internationally. But again, if Palestinians if Palestinians support this deal, then they should take it. The majority of Palestinians, who am I to say? The majority of Palestinians support this deal. I think they should take it. But I don't know what the Palestinian sentiment is to this deal. So.
What if we can't gauge it, and what if it's just Hamas's decision? Let's say you're in charge of Hamas, you've got the authoritarian rule right now. You've given your
Yeah, I
proposal
don't
for the
want Gaza Strip
guarantee.
to go into Trump though. I don't want without any guarantees that it will go back to somebody else.
Oh well, I think anyone who, yeah, fuck it. I don't know. I think anyone who chooses keep fighting over this deal, probably is more pro-genocide than I've ever been accused of being. I do not know how anyone can exist in this fucking land where you think there's a genocide happening, but you won't accept an end to it because the end to it is
No, it won't
imperfect.
be an end to
This
it.
fucking
Trump will be
mental.
controlling
It's
it.
so crazy. Imagine if like
Is it end to the Nazi regime if the Nazi regime's fucking still holds yeah, parts of.
we're not, if we go into
No, it
World War
doesn't.
II analogies, this is like the Nazis offering the Jews, like, well, okay, well, you're going to lose your homeland in Poland and all that, wherever the fuck you came from. You're going to have to go to Madagascar or Palestine or whatever, but we won't kill you. And then the Jews are like, no, we want our land in Poland. Like, we're going to fight or gas us. Dude, you would think that was fucking mental to say for anyone to
Okay,
say
they
that.
should take that then. If it stops the fighting, if there's a guarantee to, which there is, right? There's a guarantee to the stopping of like the bombing, right?
Yes, the bombing would stop with this deal. Yes.
Yeah, if that actually happens, then yes, they should do that. The stop of all fighting. But I don't know how much I trust Israel to actually like fucking.
I mean, this plan doesn't even. This plan rules out relocation. That's actually one thing that they're fairly clear on.
Yeah, I don't know how much I trust Israel to actually stop the bombing because there's been other ceasefire
Yeah,
deals.
maybe you don't. I don't trust the Israeli government. I don't trust the Israeli right wingers in the government, especially Ben Gvir and Smotrich. Really
Yeah.
want it to be about expulsion. Who else? What choice do you have?
So what? They should take a chance that the fucking bombing would stop.
You're taking a chance anyway. If Hamas keeps fighting, you're taking a chance. Only the chance is that, well, high chance more people die and get bombed. Low chance or no chance. The benefit is what? There's no benefit. So even through your eyes, believe everything that you do about Israel, accepting this deal is still better than whatever the fuck Hamas is going to get from keeping on fighting.
Yeah. So at least the deal says it guarantees an end to the fighting. If the deal didn't guarantee an end to the fighting, then obviously not.
Yeah,
But,
and I think you're probably going to note and look out very carefully for the amount of people in the pro-Palestine side who don't want to say that. They won't say Hamas should keep fighting because that's just a bad look if they're professionals. But they're effectively saying that.
But for principle wise, would you agree that Hamas demanding that it goes to another? Yeah, you already agreed that the Hamas demanding that it goes to another Palestinian.
Yes, Gaza can only ever have the only end game for Gaza that's realistic, moral, everything else legal is that it becomes a state. That's the only thing it can ever become. It cannot become Israeli territory. It can't become a non-state surrounded by soldiers. It can't be. It needs to be a state. Yes, that's a reasonable demand. You're not going to get it. You should take the deal anyway. You're not going to get that guarantee. You should fight for that later.
Do you think they would have gotten it under Kamala?
Much more likely, yeah. I would say, yeah. I would say that, say the deal goes through, and then Palestinians are like, okay, Hamas are gone. Can we have, like, it's time for statehood. We're not going to do weapons anymore and all that shit. The PA are, let's say the PA are moving in towards taking over Gaza. Kamala would back that. Trump would not give a fuck.
Even with all the bribes he gets and all of his family's connections to Arab states like Saudi Arabia.
The bribes that Trump gets.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah. Not that these Arab states care about Palestinians. I don't really think they're lobbying on behalf of Palestinians. I don't really think they.
No, they
really
mostly just want to do the thing that keeps their own populations at bay.
And keeps them rich. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's go a little bit confrontational, yeah, but they should. I will go on record. Yeah, they should take the deal and agree to a chance. Agree to a chance. I can. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to say knowing that Israel is breaking every ceasefire, but yeah, they should probably at least take the chance and make the international justification for it, like of the bombing, much less if Hamas disarms. But Israel is still trying to justify it, obviously. But yeah.
And if you have any examples of me being unfair when analyzing like certain war conduct or events, you can let me know. If you want to do the GHF thing later, we can do that. If you want to go and do and gather your sources on it.
And also you can obviously just say no to this because it's fucking irrelevant. Like your chat's tired of me probably because I fucking come on here fucking every day.
Don't worry about them.
Nearly every day. Is it could you reacted to on Yeet yesterday? It's about TwitchCon. I was gonna say going to TwitchCon is not bad for like. I was gonna say this is related to Hasan. Yeah, you could just say no if possible because I would understand. I would understand why because it's fucking drama slop. And honestly, I kind of feel bad for digesting politics that way because it is a really bad way to digest politics. It makes me more into a fucking deep DGGer, because you should not digest politics through fucking drama. Even though I don't, but I somewhat do. But I'm saying the reason Hasan doesn't go to TwitchCon is because like the people he's associated with have a risk of like getting attacked. For example, like he was doing like collabs with like 39 Death, and that person like defended him on like the cracker take, and like the amount of harassment she gets is like it's still to this day like on LSF on like on the cracker take thing. So that I'm saying that's his mentality. Why? Because like yeah, if he goes there, there's more. Yeah, there's targeting of like his friends and stuff. That's all I wanted to say, really. Even though it's fucking irrelevant. But yeah,
I don't think
yeah, I
any
guess,
public
yeah.
figure who has lots of haters has ever made a defense like that before. I just think he doesn't want to go. Just think he
I
thinks
mean,
it's
he
going
went
to
to
be boring.
TwitchCon every year before
Yeah,
since
yeah. No, I
2019.
mean, the honest answer that you can give is that he's probably dicey about the Charlie Kirk thing affecting him.
Well,
That's
then why is
fine.
he
That's
going out
completely
then?
understandable. What?
No, but he's going out to other events. He's going out. He's going out on like the 3rd and 4th of October. He's going out to GP Explorer in France. He's like casting like Squeezy's like F4 campaign. Like he's like the fucking PewDiePie of France. He has like 19 million fucking
Okay.
subscribers, which is crazy for a population of 65 million people. He's going on the 27th of October. I know this because there's an updates account that posts. I'm not like a fucking stalker and I watch his stream. He's going to like the New Yorker conference. He's going to Crooked Con on Pod Save America. So he's still going out. So I think that thing is valid. But yeah, I don't know why I'm arguing over fucking somebody else's fucking TwitchCon's appearance.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this is
obviously in
fucking
France they don't have
Anyways,
guns,
yes,
so
yeah.
all right,
Yes,
whatever.
yeah. Yeah, he's going to events in America as well. But yeah, see ya.